Good morning, Facebook. Hello, and welcome to Figured Out Friday with Coach Regina. I'm very excited today. I stay excited, first of all. Just thank you all for joining this morning. And if you will do me this solid, go ahead on and share this out. Today, we're talking about a subject matter that is leading in pretty much most people's lives, and that's unfortunately stress and burnout. And so, we're going to be on here probably about 20 minutes. I did this framework a couple of months ago when I was working with a group of leaders. Good morning, V. Thank you for joining. Make sure you share this out. I had this conversation a couple of months ago, and I've been asked to continue to have this conversation, and that's to address stress and burnout. It seems like I can't get around it, and so I'm just going to lean into it. So, thank you all so much for joining. If you have not experienced a level of stress that's leading to burnout, congratulations to you. You're doing something right. And make sure you keep. Good morning, Jay. Thank you for joining. Look at my YouTubers. Hey, y'all. um, so when we're talking about this stress and this burnout, if you are in a good place and you're not chronically stressed and you're not on your way to burnout, I'm just gonna say kudos to you. I'm going to say continue to walk that journey, walk that path that you're on. Keep prioritizing the things that are having you to be in that space. But otherwise, I have been called upon a lot. That's one of the most requested presentations, most requested talks that I am asked to engage in, and that is how do we do something about this stress, particularly in the workplace. Of course, then if you have things going on at home, it really just adds to that. And so the framework that I'll use today, that I'll talk about, and you'll be able to write down and have some practical application, because what we don't want to do is pull up, listen, and have no action. You're going to have action. You're going to have action to go back and apply to your daily life. So let me take y'all back just a little bit, because for a while, if you look at my previous content, you'll see me, plant-based boss, living this plant-based life and really just leaning. Good morning, Ross. Thank you for joining. What's up, Facebook? Hey. I was leaning very heavy into my plant-based space. Make sure y'all share this out. So I was leaning very heavy into my plant-based space. And so when I first transitioned to plant-based eating, my body was healing. I was starting to really take better care of myself. And if I could offer you this out there in stress and burnout land, you're going to have to choose to incorporate things that are going to start making you feel better in terms of your nutrition. My journey to where I am now, it started with me taking better care of my physical health. I started taking better care of my physical health. Then I gained the confidence to show up differently. But when you're unwell, when your blood pressure is up, when you're carrying excess weight, people may not acknowledge that, but they don't feel well. You're not your optimal self. You just don't really feel well. A lot of times people are tired. And so I want to offer this to you. When I started my journey to where I am now, it started with my eating. And I was so comfortable with that. And so I know that what we eat and what we put in our bodies has an impact on how we show up. So for me, it started with my eating. I started taking better care of myself, and I began to be more clear. Like when you can remove some things from your diet that's clogging your thought process. I talk about how sugar impacts the brain, how it causes inflammation. And so those things contributes to your stress. It contributes to you being overwhelmed about your physical condition. And so I don't want you to miss the fact that your nutrition does play a role in how you show up in your chronic stress or in your stress place. And so I started, and I'm just repeating this. I'm putting it on repeat because people do not prioritize their nutrition. We want to moderate, take our time, ease our way out of whatever it is, ease our way out of this bad eating. But for me, making those major jumps, it really 10x where I am right now in terms of me being able to think clearer, me being able to make better decisions. And so I was in a place trying to, if you're in the workforce, you have a lot to contend with. You have an absolute lot to contend with on a day-to-day basis. And it's easy to get overwhelmed in your mind. It's easy to get overwhelmed in your body. But in order for us to start to manage acute stress before it turns to chronic stress, we've got to take a hold of the things that we can take a hold of. And so that's where the quad shift comes in. I want you to write that down, type that in the chat. It's QUAD. I keynote this talk a while back talking about the quad shift. So if you just write that down, I'm just going to break this down real quick for you all. So when we think about eliminating stress, because we don't want to manage it, but in your day to day, let me say this: acute stress is normal. Matter of fact, acute stress is actually helpful for us. But I'm not. When you talk about where you've been stressed in these positions for 3 months or longer, then that is going to have an impact on your health. Period. If you're in a stressful situation, whatever it may be, I don't know what you may be faced with, but I do know as we close out this fourth quarter, we got 3 months left in this year. I want to lean into this space to help you get underneath this thing so that you don't go into the new year carrying all that old stress, all those old behaviors, if you can do something about them. Some practical things. There are some practical things that we can do that can support us without this big major thing. And so I want to just teach you all about the quad shift. If you'll type that in the chat for me, interact with me this morning, and that's QUAD, quad shift, QUAD. I want you to start to, you don't have to do anything big and major. So quick breaks. I'm making a transition. The framework that I normally use, that I go into details about, I'm going to hold that over here. But this is something that I want you to lean in on that you can do right now. When you talk about being overwhelmed and you're running and you're always doing, it's almost like what we call the nature of the beast. We wake up on go and we don't stop until we lay down. So throughout the day, I want to invite you, type this in the chat. Your cue is going to be quick breaks. Quick breaks, like when you're at your computer or when you're going about your day, like every 60 seconds, pause from your screen. I have a very bad habit of pulling up and being in front of the screen. I will sit in front of the screen all day long, and when the watch tells me to stand up, I'm just looking like I don't even pay attention to it. And so we get in the habit of just going, doing, performing. However, we need to take a pause throughout the course of every hour, throughout the course of every minute to reset our nervous systems. And so just practical. We're not being crazy out here. This is something practical that you can do. Take quick breaks. That's the cue in the quad shift. I want you to start today before you go to work. Start practicing this. You can take quick breaks. 60 seconds away from the screen. You're not goofing off in the workplace. You are actually resetting your nervous system. And so what I mean by that, if you have these fancy watches, when the watch tell you to stand up, stand up. When you stand up, go ahead on and stretch. After you get through stretching and you get ready to sit back down, sip on you some water. Do you have your water this morning? So that's the first thing in the quad shift. I want you to start taking quick breaks. Breathing, stepping away for 60 seconds. Again, you're not goofing off. You're actually resetting your nervous system. Take that quick break. That's the cue. Number 2, when we're talking about reducing stress. Good morning. What's up, Facebook over here? Hey, y'all. When we're talking about taking quick breaks, reducing stress, number 2, I want you to You don't want to hear it, but I got to tell you, I got a problem with it too. Technology is amazing, but constant notifications, y'all, turn off those notifications because they tend to keep you on the edge. So, quad shift, your you is going to be unplug. Unplug. I need you to schedule unplug windows throughout your day. Throughout your day. So make it simple. We're not complicating this. Unplug. I know sometimes we have we got these phones. Like, we got these phones. We want to set these notifications. We just jumpy all the time. Let me jump and check this. That is too much. So I'm inviting you for the you in the quad shift to shift. We got to make these intentional. You got to put in the work. And the work is unplug. Become unavailable to those notifications. Today I'm inviting you to turn off your notifications and set time that you're going to unplug. Whether it's 12 to 1 when you're having lunch, that's a conversation too that we need to have. Y'all, start taking your lunch breaks. Start taking your lunch breaks. Start taking the lunch breaks. And so, unplug. Schedule time when you're going to check your phone. We just all day long. We tether to that phone. We just tether to the phone all day long. I'm inviting you because that becomes stressful. You're waiting on the next thing. You're waiting on the next text message. You're waiting on the next email. You're waiting on the next phone call. All that anxiety, you're anticipating. You're anticipating the phone call. You're anticipating what they're going to say. You're anticipating what meeting you got to go into. Set some time so that you can regulate yourself. Schedule time to check the phone. For example, during your lunch break, I will not check my phone. At your lunch break, take you a 10-minute walk without your earbuds. Just walk. Because y'all had them earbuds, you just wait, you scrolling, you just tether to your phone. So today I'm inviting you to unplug from technology. Technology is amazing, but it can cause so much stress and it can cause so much overwhelm. So I'm asking you to consider to unplug from the thing that you've been so plugged into. We're going to roll into our A. Align priorities. Align priorities. Y'all, sometimes we can be so far out of alignment, and that is what stresses people out. You are in a position where you're trying to make some decisions. You know what's comfortable. You want to stay right there. But the reality of it is you come to a point, you realize that this, whatever this is, no longer aligns with where you're going. If it does not align with your assignment, you're going to be stressed. When we're so busy, we're ripping and running, we find ourselves on a high. Like it's just like we're on 1,000 all the time. And so I want you to ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now aligned with my values and my desires? Is what I'm doing right now aligned with my values and my desires? For example, I say I value my health. Is what I'm doing every day aligned with my values that I say I value my health? Do I work out? Do I eat foods that produce, better outcomes? Or do I just still eat the potato chips, chronically stressed, just snacking on stuff, won't make a decision to make a change because I think I'm just going to moderate my way out of the situation. But what ends up happening, I'm overly stressed all over again. So you ask yourself the question, align priorities. That takes some time with you sitting with yourself, sitting with your think tank, sitting with your people. You may not be the only one who's trying to figure out this alignment. Again, I call it the fourth quarter. We're in the fourth quarter, y'all. October, November, and December. We shouldn't be waiting until December the 25th to start planning for 2026. Some people plan in advance. So this is your invitation to start taking inventory of those things. What did the first 9 months look like? Did it align? Have I shifted out of alignment? Are things now out of alignment? Let me tell y'all something. People who have back issues and their spine is out of alignment, they're in pain. So eventually, if you stay out of alignment, it's going to cause you pain. It's going to cause you a lot of discomfort. So let's get ahead of that discomfort by sitting down and really taking time over the next month, which I'm going to continue to share content in this regards. But I want you to evaluate, is this stuff aligning with my life? Or am I just doing it because it's comfortable? Am I just doing it because it's what I've always done? I feel good. I know this, as I say, I know this like the back of my hand. Or are you at a place where things are no longer aligning and I'm ready to make a decision to move, to do something different? It takes courage to shift. And if we want to reduce our stress, because when we're out of alignment, we have tension. Tension is not necessarily bad, but if we allow that tension to go on without making a decision to make some changes, then yes, that's where we perpetuate the behaviors. We just continue to do the same old thing, knowing that it no longer aligns, but we're comfortable with it, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's your health. Like those are the major things that people have tension about and stressed about and trying to figure out, are we in alignment? Is my career still where I'm supposed to be? That's not an easy thing to think about. If you've been on your job for 20 years or you in a leadership role and you've been in that leadership role making 6 figures, but God has told you, ma'am, sir, your blood pressure is 175 over 200 every day, you still showing up in that place, you've gained 30 pounds. You don't feel well when you go in there. You hate to go to work, but you're still showing up because you make 6 figures. I'm just trying to help you think about your stress level. Or if you're in a relationship that's exceptionally toxic, you are the contributor of all things trying to make it healthy, but it is not healthy. And so you continue to pour, you continue to pour, you continue to pour. Guess who's stressed? The other person's not stressed because they're benefiting from your goodness. I'm just trying to help you think about your stress. Or you go to the doctor and the doctor says, hey, it looks like we need to make some changes. It looks like if you do this, then this will happen. I work with clients every single day who are struggling to release the thing that the doctor has specifically said, if you do this, I believe this will happen. One thing about it, was it easy for me to let go of the foods that I was eating? Absolutely not. Absolutely 100% not. But I'll tell you this, she's forever in my story because I did not know this information. When Dr. Smash told me that I was borderline high cholesterol, I had to make a decision. I could continue on the pathway eating what I wanted to eat, which no longer aligned with my health. You see what I'm saying? Y'all talk back to me. YouTube says she need to take some time off. You absolutely, YouTube, you need to take some time off. And this is what I invite you to. Don't make up an excuse of why you need to take time off. Don't say your mama's sick, your dad is sick, somebody in the hospital. Just request your time off and take off. So quiet shift, we talked about, I want you to take, the Q is for take quick breaks. The U is for unplug, put that cell phone, that computer, put them devices down, step away. The A is align priorities, align with what is your assignment. And if you don't know your assignment, then spend some time with yourself and ask the Lord, what am I supposed to be doing right about now? And then D, quiet shift, stress reduction. Simple, deep breaths. The simplest, most powerful stress reset. Breathe in for 4, hold it, count out for 6. You do that 3 times, you will feel your body resets. Simple. You can do that at your desk. You can do that on the couch. You can even do that in the bathroom. But you want to start taking deep breaths to help reset and to bring you down. So, when we want to reduce and eliminate stress, we have to take an active part in that. The systems may not support like overall, but you as an individual, if you are a supervisor, a manager, a leader in your organization, I want you to consider sharing this with your team. Hey, y'all, we're going to implement the quad shift. But you know these people are stressed out. This is simple. Encourage them. Quick breaks. Take 60 seconds away from that screen. Stand up, stretch, sip some water. You unplug. During your lunch hour, put the phone down and schedule the next time you're going to check that phone. A, align priorities. Think about, write it down. Is what I'm doing still aligning with where I want to go? If it does not, you weigh your pros and your cons. You do a SWOT analysis. You look at your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats for your future. Then you make a decision. And then, very, very practical, take some deep breaths. That's the quad shift for activating and reducing your stress levels. So I want to ask you all, I gave you 4 simples. I want to hear from you, YouTube, Facebook. Which of the quad shifts do you need most right now? Do you need to start moving away from the screen? Drop it in the chat. Do you need the quick break? Do you need to unplug more? Hey, Tina, good morning, darling. Thank you for joining, sweetie. Do you need to assess your assignment and your alignment? Or do you need to start taking these deep breaths? What I want you to do as you go forward, simple, quad shift. You ain't got to take a vacation, because this is the problem. When y'all be leaving, going on them vacation, you still come back stressed. These are things that you can build into your everyday practice. You don't have to go and get a massage. You don't have to go and get a pedicure and a manicure. When we're talking about reducing stress on a daily basis, it is the practical steps. And when we get these practical steps down, we practice them on a regular basis. So every leader, every CEO, every president, every manager, every supervisor, if you're responsible for other people, I'm inviting you to the quad shift. Before you start a meeting, have a conversation about the quad shift. So I heard that lady on YouTube talking about the quad shift, and we're going to implement that. We're going to start our day with understanding. Take a 60-second break, quick break. I ain't said goof off 15, 20 minutes, but take quick breaks. Unplug, align, and take deep breaths. Three rounds of that. So here's my challenge before I get out of here. Here's my challenge. I want you to pick one quad shift and practice that one quad shift for the next 7 days. Whether you write a sticky note, set some kind of reminder, whatever it takes, it is the small shifts that build big change. It's not the big thing. It's not the vacation. It's not the girls' trip. It's not the girls' night out. It's not the boys' night out. It's not gang day. It is the things that we do every single day. The things that we practice will build that big change. So I want to thank y'all for joining me this morning, because let me say this. Remember, burnout is not a badge of honor. It is a warning sign. And I want us to get ahead of this warning sign. And so I see this quad shift as a tool for you to move from survival mode to actually doing life well. And so if you found this brief time together helpful, I want you to share this live with somebody you care about who needs to make the quad shift. And then don't forget to meet me here next Friday, 6 o'clock a.m., Figured Out Friday. Next Friday, I'm going to talk about self-care as a leadership strategy. We think it's, woofy woofy. No, I will share how I was able to navigate, and I see that self-care as a leadership strategy is actually your competitive edge. When you take care of those that are on your team and help them to understand the value of taking care of themselves, you get way more out of folks. So until then, let's continue to do life well. We can do life well. We can do life well together. But we can only do that when we're well. One last thing, thank y'all for joining, but one last thing, if you are a sister on here and you need to make some connections, I'm inviting you to the No Flinch Faith Women's Empowerment Conference, February the 20th and 21st, Jackson, Mississippi, hosted by yours truly, hosted it this past February. Tickets are on sale now on my website, www.reginaLacking.com. Questions about the conference, do message me. DM me if you have questions, because I want you in the place where you can do some work to work on yourself with other good sisters. All right? Early bird special ends on October the 15th, so make sure you get your tickets. Make sure you get your tickets for you and your crew, and I will see you there. Now, let's go out here and practice the quad shift. Make a commitment to at least one for the next 7 days. Quick breaks, unplug, check your alignment with your assignment, and take these deep breaths. You all have a well weekend, and I will talk to you later. Make sure you share this out.